Alright, so here we are. We are up to 9-3 day 2 ellipses. So far, your ellipses have been x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. This and this tell us that our center is going to be 0, 0. So life is good when your center is 0, 0. And then you get something crazy like this thrown at you. But remember, our skill that we've been working on, completing the square, has been very, very, very handy. And if you know how to do it, check in the box, then you can do any of these problems. So, I'm going to start with my y information first. Why would I do that? No pun intended, is there's a 1 there. And so I'm going to look at that, and remember, this is unique. This is very unique. This is not a circle. If this was a circle, this could be any number. But this must be a 1. Having said that, I'm still going to subtract 15 from both sides. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I really want to concentrate on this. So y squared minus 2y plus space equals negative 15 plus space. I know we haven't talked about that yet. I'm just forgetting about it for a second because this one's easier. I want to get you off to a good start. So this thing's ready to become a perfect square trinomial because that's a 1. This is going to be a little bit more work. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But now we're to here. Take half of this, negative 1. We got to square it, so that's a 1. But if we put a 1 here, we have to put a 1 here. Now remember, in order to have a perfect square trinomial, this must be a 1. Now some of you are like, well, you could divide everything by 2. We're not going to do that. You'll see what's coming in a second. What we're going to do is simply focus on this. We're going to take a 2 out of these two terms. And we're going to look at it as x squared minus 6x plus space. Now, because we took a 2 out of that, we have a 2 here, so don't forget about it. But let's concentrate in here. Now we have our 1. We have to have a 1 here in order to complete the square. That's a must. So now we can take half of that negative 6, which is negative 3, square it, and we get a 9. Now, we put a 9 there, but that 9 now hits that 2, so we have 18. So we got to add another 18 to this side. Now watch this. I'm going to clean all of this up. That 2 comes along for the ride. 2 times x minus 3 squared. Remember that little trick? That number in there is always what's in here. Plus, now I'm going to factor this, remembering that that's what's going to go in there. Y minus 1 squared equals 18 plus 1 is 19. 19 minus 15 is 4. Now we're going back to this. Must be a 1. And we're going to take care of this on our last steps. We're going to divide everything by 4 because this has to be a 1. Now I'm going to reduce this. I get x minus 3 squared. If I concentrate on this and this only, I know that's going to reduce to 1/2. So there's a 1 there that I don't need, and that's over 2. Plus, there's nothing to cancel here, so I end up with y minus 1 squared all over 4 equals 1. And all of that work to get to this place where we can actually graph it and talk about the important parts. So here we go. Right 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1. So the way I look at it is, there's my new y-axis. Here's my new x-axis. Making that point right there, 3, 1, our new center. That's our new origin. Everything's going to build on that. So we can see that this is less than this. So this needs to be my a squared. And if a squared is 4, then a is 2. That's the distance I travel up and down my y-axis. So I go up 2 to there, down 2 to there. Now because this is my a squared, that makes this my major axis, which is very important because that makes that a vertex. That makes that a vertex. And now we're going to figure out how far to go this way and that way. Well, we gotta understand that that's b squared equals 2. So we take the square root, type it in your calculator. It's really close to 1.4. So I need to go 1.4 that way, 1.4 that way, and then it would actually look something like that. Now, got to point something out to you. This is my major axis. So when I want to find my foci, I'm going to use the formula a squared minus b squared equals c squared. A squared is 4, b squared is 2, and there's c squared. So 2 equals c squared. So bada boom, bada bing, do the right thing. Listen carefully. My foci are always on my major axis. That green one is my major because it's bigger. From the center, I need to go up the square root of 2, and I need to go down the square root of 2. So that means from this right here, I need to go up, and I need to go down the square root of 2. That would place me, the square root of 2 is approximately 1.4, so that would be like 1.4 up from there would be right about there, and 1.4 down from there would be right about there. But if they had us label it, our foci would be written as 3, 1 plus or minus the square root of 2. All right. Now, I'm going to pause that. I know that was a lot. I want you to see one more of those before I launch into your homework. All right, so here it is. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to group our x's together. So x squared minus 8x. And I want you to notice something. Because this is a 1, I'm going to go ahead and go like that because we're going to complete the square. Now we're going to group our y's together. So plus 3y squared plus 6y. And I'm going to get rid of that constant. We'll deal with that later. It doesn't have anything to do with perfect square trinomials, so we're just getting rid of it. Equals negative 10. Let's talk about this, then we will talk about this. So because this is a 1, I can just take half of that, which is negative 4, square it, put a 16 there, but I got to put a 16 there to keep this all balanced. I'm going to take a look at that and say, hey, that's my perfect square trinomial, so it turns into x minus 4 squared. That one was easy because this was already a 1. That darn 3, you could say, I'm going to divide everything by 3. No, no, no. Take a 3 out. So we get y squared plus 2y plus space equals, now I'm going to go ahead and add that together right now, 6 plus space. So half of 2 is 1. But I have to square that. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 3 is 3, so I really added 3 on this side, so I got to add 3 on that side. Now this we've already done, but I'm going to rewrite it. X minus 4 squared plus, there's my 3, don't forget about it. This factors into y plus 1 squared equals, and I get a 9. Now the big moment is you have to know, in the world of ellipses, you're not done until that's a 1. The only thing we can do is divide by 9 and reduce stuff. So there's an invisible 1 here. So this just turns into x minus 4 squared over 9 plus, notice 3/9 reduces to 1/3. So that would turn into y plus 1 squared over 3 equals, and 9 divided by 9 is 1. And now we've got it in a place where we can actually say, hey, all right, we can find the center. It's 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 down. And I like to literally draw a new y-axis and a new x-axis. But also take a second and literally label that center. There it is. Everything's going to build off that. Now we can see 9 is bigger than 3. So now a squared has to be 9 and b squared has to be 3. Take the square root of that. A is 3. That's the distance we're going to travel along the x-axis. So from here I need to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then this one, b squared is 3. You got to take the square root of both sides. This is approximately 1.7 if I was to type it in a calculator. And that's the distance I need to travel up and down the y-axis from the center. So 1.7 would be approximately there. 1.7 would be approximately there. You can just look at it and see that it's longer along the x-axis this time. So I'm going to make this stand out at us as our major axis. Because if they ask you, where are the foci, you have to know it's going to be on that green line somewhere on the major axis. Always, always, always on the major axis. So, what's the formula we use? A squared minus b squared equals c squared. What's a squared? Well, that was this number, the bigger one. What's b squared? That's the smaller number. Equals c squared. Well, 9 minus 3 is 6. So bada boom, bada bing, do the right thing, which is telling you we need to move left of 4, the square root of 6. We need to move right of 4, square root of 6. So it would be somewhere in here and somewhere in here. So how would we write our answer for our foci? It'd be 4 plus or minus the square root of 6. All that's saying is left of 4, that distance, right of 4, that distance. And then our y would stay the same because we're just moving left and right. We're not moving up and down. So there's the foci. And I think you guys, after seeing that example, are ready to rock and roll. You can watch it again if you want, but you got to complete the square, get it into the form of an ellipse, then graph it using what you know about ellipses, and then find the foci. That's it in a nutshell. All right, good luck on that homework, you guys.